Hey everyone, and welcome. Let's talk about something that, let's be honest, probably causes a ton of stress in healthcare: documentation and surveys. But what if we could completely flip the script on that? What if we could turn that dreaded task into a powerful way to tell the story of the excellent care you're already providing? That's what we're going to dive into. So, first things first, let's get right into the problem. A problem I'm pretty sure a lot of you are going to recognize immediately. We're calling it the documentation dilemma. All right, be honest, is documentation pretty much your least favorite word? Yeah. I'm guessing for many of you, the answer is a big, resounding yes. Just hearing it can make your shoulders tense up, right? You start thinking about all that paperwork waiting for you after a super long day of actually caring for people. And this, right here, is the heart of the issue, isn't it? You know you're giving fantastic, compassionate care. Your patients know it, but then you have to prove it on paper. And that feels like a completely different, overwhelming job. It's like there's this huge gap between the great work you do in the real world and the story the paperwork ends up telling. But here's where things get interesting. The good news is, the solution isn't another complicated rule or one more checklist to memorize. It's actually a really simple but powerful mindset shift. It's all about learning to see your work through a surveyor's eyes. So take a look at this. It really breaks it down. On the left, you've got that old fear-based view that so many of us get stuck in. This idea that we have to be absolutely perfect, that it's just about ticking off boxes, and we live in constant fear of making one tiny mistake. But now, look at the right. This is the surveyor's mindset. This is what they're actually looking for. They're not hunting for perfection. They're looking for a clear clinical story. They're looking for patterns, and they are looking for alignment. And that's the absolute key. The surveyor's mindset means you stop staring at the individual checkboxes and you step back to see the whole narrative. It's about asking yourself, does this chart as a whole tell a logical story about this patient's journey and the care we provided? I absolutely love this reframe. A surveyor isn't a judge with a big red pen just eager to find something you did wrong. No way. Think of them as a detective. They arrive at the scene, your documentation, and their goal is to piece together what happened. They're looking for clues that connect and a story that makes sense. Your job is just to give them that clear story. Okay, so that's the what and the why. But how do you actually do this? Let's get practical. How do you apply this mindset in your daily work? It really breaks down into 3 simple steps. First, as you're documenting, think about the patterns. Is the care you're providing consistent? Second, check for alignment. Do all the pieces of the puzzle fit together? And third, just put it all together and tell that clinical story in your notes. Let's zoom in on that idea of alignment, because it is so important. All it really means is that everything in the chart should logically connect. Ask yourself, do the patient's stated goals actually match the care plan we have in place? Does the medication list make sense with the given diagnoses? Does today's note build on yesterday's? It's all about connecting those dots. Now, here's the best part. When you start thinking this way day in and day out, something pretty remarkable starts to happen. Your whole focus shifts from fear to confidence, and the benefits are very real. The first and maybe the most immediate payoff is just a massive reduction in stress. You're no longer chasing this impossible standard of perfection. Instead, you're focused on a goal you can actually achieve: clear, logical storytelling. And this leads to another huge payoff. Your documentation stops being this frustrating chore. It actually becomes an authentic reflection of your hard work and your clinical skill. The paperwork finally matches the amazing quality of care that you're already providing. And all of this leads to the ultimate goal, doesn't it? When survey day finally arrives, you're not scrambling. You're not scared. You're calm. You're confident. You know your documentation tells a clear and powerful story because you've been telling it every single day. So as we start to wrap this up, let's bring it all back home to the one simple truth that underpins this entire approach. This is it. This is the whole thing in a nutshell. Compliance isn't some big mystery. It's not a secret code you have to crack. It is simply the result of doing what you already do, providing good care, and then telling that story clearly on paper. You've already got the most important part totally covered. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. When you sit down to do your charting tomorrow, don't just think about filling out boxes. Think about the patient. Think about their journey. Think about the care you gave. And just ask yourself, what's the story here, and how can I tell it clearly? Thanks so much for watching.